Hello again, everyone, and happy belated New Year. This is the KMN 1971 back with my first comic book haul of 2018. Oh, I'm a little drained today, I have to admit. I attended that awesome Patriots playoff game in chilly old Foxborough last night, and a little tired today, a little drained, but it's a small price to pay to be able to bear witness to the greatest era in modern sports history. Love it. If you're not a Patriots fan, I don't blame you for hating. I would be so sick of seeing us, in the championship game. We're on the verge of being in the Super Bowl what it seems like every year. But for us over here, it's just like we just have that mentality. Just one more, please, just one more. So enough about that, and no gloating either. I'm in awe of being able to live through this. But on to the comics. Pretty good haul this. I have a couple of leftovers from last year that I got at the end of December. Christmas present from my saintly folks. And so let's just get it on. Flash number 38, as usual. I'm going to start off with a couple of current comics that I've picked up over the past couple of weeks. This features, of course, this is a B cover done by artist Supreme Matina, and one of the best Flash covers I've seen come down the pike in quite a while. Another beautiful Art Germ cover to Supergirl cover to no one's surprise whatsoever. What more can be said about this run? I am really looking forward to. I guess he's going to be doing Supergirl throughout the ages, and I saw a preview of his Supergirl '80s cover, and it looks incredible. I'm looking forward to it. Copiel has been killing it on the Batman B covers. This is Batman number 38. Much like last year, Batman is my favorite ongoing title. Tom King is killing it. I guess this book was a little hot because the premiere of a new villain. I don't know. But it was a great read. And like I said, this Copiel cover is just incredible. I believe my next comic book collection spotlight will be focusing in on these DC Rebirth B covers that I've been harping on for quite a while. So hopefully you'll like it. Guardians of the Galaxy, number 115. Yet again, another beautiful Alex Ross cover. I'm a huge fan of Alex Ross, huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, and a huge fan of Adam Warlock. So this cover right here was a no-brainer. Nice lenticular cover. Sorry to see this series go. Went out kind of strong. But I guess I will be maybe kind of a hypocrite, I guess, because the miniseries that this series is being canceled for, I guess, the Quest for the Infinity Stones, I might have to check that out, because that's the only way I'm going to find out what's going on with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Adam Warlock, and Wolverine. So I might be in on a big Marvel mega crossover. I'm part of the problem. My first addition to my pull list for 2018, The Realm from Image Comics. I picked up issue 1 in a back issue haul a couple of months ago and finally got around to reading it. I liked it. I picked up issues number 2 and 3, and I really dig the story. So, on the pull list. Liking it. Oh, and I guess this is a Walking Dead tribute cover. Alright, now into the back issues. Detective Comics number 851, and this is a Tony Daniel variant cover. I want to say it's just a 1 in 10. Reason I picked it up, big Nightwing fan. I own the standard edition of this cover, but I really like covers that have a lot of the characters from the Batman Rogues Gallery on the cover, and I think this is one of an exceptional one. Easy for me to say. Like I said, I'm still groggy. Another variant. I want to say this is probably like a 50-50 variant, but this is the New Mutants Forever. This is the Bill number 1, and this is the Bill Sienkiewicz variant cover. Many consider Bill Sienkiewicz, including myself, the quintessential New Mutants artist. So a book that I didn't really know about. I was just flipping through the Midtown Comics site, And I came across this, and even though I didn't pick it up on Midtown Comics, it had been on my want list for a while. So, and yeah, that's about it. Cool book. Cage #1 by Brian Azzarello and Richard Corbin. And I've read on sites in the past that some consider this to be the first modern appearance of Luke Cage, which, I hope not, because this rendition of Luke Cage I thought was kind of an asshole. So I prefer the Luke Cage, the watered-down Luke Cage rendition that Brian Bendis made me like during his early run on New Avengers, which I think is closer to the rendition of the Luke Cage that we see on Netflix. So maybe that's why I like it. Generation 13 in this like weird combo pack, sealed poly bag, I guess. Why would I pick this up? Once again, first appearance hoarding. So this contains also a preview comic of Danger Girl. So this is the first appearance of Danger Girl by J. Scott Campbell. And of course, it's not the super hot American comics variant, but for $5, why not? Extreme Justice #9. I don't like to put blame on people, but I lay the blame solely at the feet of the Doom for this one. He showed this in one of his videos sometime last year, and I guess, I don't know, for some reason I put it on my list. I hate the Wonder Twins. I don't know why I picked this up. I really do. I might have to go into comic book rehab. It's one thing to hoard first appearances, but when you start hoarding first appearances of characters that you don't like, you might have an issue. So this is the first appearance of the Wonder Twins in the mainstream DC universe in Extreme Justice #9. And yes, this Extreme Justice was the epitome of 90s dreck. Wanted to pick this up for like $1, but could never find it, so I ended up coming across for like maybe $4. Picked it up. The Avengers #316, which allegedly has Spider-Man joining the Avengers, which I think that's kind of like a big jump in logic, I guess, for this book. But it is what it is. Another book that I wanted to try to pick up for $1, but could never find it, so I came across it in high grade for like $3 and snatched it up. So I don't really consider this Spider-Man becoming a card-carrying member of the Avengers. It's more akin to him like just teaming up with the Avengers. But it has Spider-Man teaming up with the Avengers against Nebula in a story that has some John Byrne in it. So that's more than enough reason for me to pick it up. And I have all the other issues for this story arc except for this one. So pretty cool. These next 3 books were just $1. So this is Wonder Woman #7 from her second volume. And this is the first appearance of, I believe her name's Barbara Minerva, who ends up becoming the modern Cheetah. As you can see right here. So Wonder Woman #9, first appearance of the modern Cheetah. And Wonder Woman #19, which is the first appearance of the modern Circe. So, I mean, rather Cersei. Jeez, maybe I do need more sleep. But I did a little bit of research on the character of Cersei, and I guess she has appeared in Wonder Woman dating all the way back to the Golden Age, but I guess she never had a consistent appearance. She looked different in all of her appearance. So until George Perez revamped the entire Wonder Woman franchise, I guess Cersei never had any kind of consistency, and this is that point in time where she started having some consistency as a character. So I thought that was pretty cool, and you never know who's going to be the antagonist in the next Wonder Woman flick, which seems to be the one bright spot in the DC cinematic universe, or at least, that's what everyone thinks. So, well, I guess that's a general opinion, rather. Let's go to the Bronze Age. Shade the Changing Man, #1. First appearance of Shade. Don't know much about this character. I know he had kind of a long-running series under the Vertigo banner, but yeah, I picked it up for yesterday for like $4, fine condition. And I believe he was created by Steve Ditko, if I'm remembering correctly. Superboy number 195, which is the first appearance of the Legionnaire named Wildfire. Now, I know the Legion doesn't really have that many, their fan base isn't really, let's say, large right now, I guess. And but I'm still a Legion fan, and Wildfire happens to be one of my top 10 Legionnaire characters, so I thought it was cool to pick them up. Another $4 hauler, Astonishing Tales number 1, which features Kazar versus Kraven the Hunter, done by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and a backup Doctor Doom solo story by Stan Lee and Wally Wood. So I definitely got my $4 worth on that one, I would say. Fine minus condition. All right. The Savage Sword of Conan, number 5. This is probably my favorite Conan the my favorite cover featuring Conan the Barbarian ever. I was a huge fan as a kid of the cult classic Conan movie, Conan the Barbarian movie featuring Arnold, and anyone that's seen that movie is very familiar with this scene right here. So I didn't know, even though I'm a big Conan fan, I didn't collect a lot of Savage Sword of Conan rather, and I have a very short want list of Savage Sword of Conan issues. So I already own number 1, and I definitely wanted this one, number 5, after I saw it on someone's YouTube video. I can't remember. I apologize. Sometime last year, but as soon as I saw this cover, I had to have it. Picked it up just couple of weeks ago in very fine condition. I want to say $15-16, so I'm not sure if that's a good price or not, but love this cover. And yeah, love the book too. It had featured one long ass Conan story. So speaking of Savage Sword of Conan, here was the other issue that was on my list. Savage Sword of Conan number 78, which features the original origin of Red Sonja, which I can see why they've changed her origin around, because her original origin is pretty tragic and graphic, man. So, but I guess this origin was originally presented in a magazine called Kull and the Barbarians number 3, and it was reprinted later on in Savage Sword of Conan. But I'm not a Kull and the Barbarians fan, so I just wanted to have, I thought it'd be cool to have Red Sonja's origin as well, wrapped up in a Savage Sword of Conan magazine. So, very cool to have it. And a little side note, I am super, super, super happy. Best comic book news of 2018 so far is that, for me personally, that Conan is coming back to Marvel in 2019, January 2019. If they can give the Conan franchise half of the A-list creative treatment that they give the Star Wars franchise, it's going to be fantastic. No disrespect to Dark Horse Comics. They're the ones that kept the torch burning for both the Conan and Star Wars franchises, and they did it very well for many years. But Dark Horse just doesn't have the creative resources that Marvel Comics have, obviously. So very, very excited to have Conan back at Marvel. Something definitely to look forward to, at least on my end, for 2019. Very happy about that. All right. Let's get into the keys, or semi-keys, whichever. Speaking of Red Sonja number 7 by Adam Hughes. I guess there is like a variant, like a holo foil cover of this variant that I'd like to pick up. I didn't even know about that until I picked this one up, but very happy. This was like 10 or 12 bucks. This is one of my favorite Adam Hughes covers, and obviously one of my favorite Red Sonja covers ever. Little side note, I've heard this is my first Dynamite comic that I've ever read, and I guess I had my expectations were like set really low or something, because I've heard a lot of bad things about Dynamite, but after flipping through this book and reading it, it didn't blow me away, but I didn't think it was horrendous either by any means. Master of Kung Fu Annual number 1, very fine condition, and Netflix, please let me see this happen. Shang-Chi teaming up with Iron Fist and kicking ass. Just let us see that happen. That would be awesome. Not necessarily the story, though, because this story is like 1970s trippy crazy. But very happy to have it, and this features the first meeting between Shang-Chi and Iron Fist. So, yeah, very cool. Very fine condition, and what did I pay? Like, once again, like maybe between that $10 to maybe $14 range. I finally got around to getting a copy of Witchblade #1 in the PC. I was kind of like not into the whole quote unquote bad girl craze of the 1990s, even though technically Witchblade isn't a bad girl, but totally missed out on this. And this book was one of those books that was hot. It seemed like it was hot right out of the gate, and it just kept on getting hotter as the 90s went on. So, or at least until Michael Turner left the title anyway. But never owned this book. This is something that I would definitely consider one of the best Michael Turner covers and one of his most, I guess, I have to use the term iconic Michael Turner covers. This is a book that really put Michael Turner on the map. It's unfortunate that he was taken too soon. It's still weird to talk about him in, past tense like that. But beautiful book. Picked this up for, once again, like $12, and very happy to have it. Superman #167, and this is a fine plus condition copy. When I was just at one of my local comic book shops, I was flipping through the bins, and this was just in a regular long box, and no price tag on it. So I kind of recognized this cover, maybe from a Wizard magazine back in the day, but I knew there was some significance about this comic. I just didn't know what it was. So I brought it up to the counter, and I'm a regular there, and the guy always gives me a great deal, so I picked this book up for $20. Superman #167 from, I think, 1967, 1968. This is my oldest issue of Superman. So when I did some research and I brought it home, it turns out this is the first team-up between Lex Luthor and Brainiac. And as an old-school Superman fan and an old-school comic book fan, I just think that's awesome. You know what I mean? The first Luthor and Brainiac team-up, I mean, that was just like a common thing. Someone that was brought up on the Super Friends. I mean, crazy. I love comic book history. So I think this is a pretty undervalued book. So, yeah, $20. Superman 167. First appearance, what the hell am I talking about? I still need sleep. First team up between Luthor and Brainiac. Awesome. Iron Man and Submariner #1. Another book that I've had on my list for a while. Last year I was really into the whole Marvel premiere / expansion series of 1968, where basically the titles that featured two Marvel characters titles that originally started off, I guess, as kind of like horror titles, and then eventually were taken over by Marvel superheroes during the Marvel Age of Comics in the 1960s. They would double up and have two characters in one title, and during the expansion series, one character would keep the legacy, I guess, numbering and switch that title over to the main character's name, like, say, Journey into Mystery became Thor, and other characters ended up getting to spin off into their own titles, such as Iron Man, Submariner, Shield, Silver Surfer, Captain Marvel. So before Iron Man and Submariner ended up getting their own ongoing titles, they had this special one-shot, which basically this is where the story started off, and if you wanted to continue reading the story, you had to pick up Iron Man and Submariner #1. So I always thought this was a really cool book, highly undervalued book, and I'm very happy to pick it up. It has a little bit of discoloration on the top in 3 spots, but for a white cover, I would have to say this is a straight up fine condition. That's what it was advertised as, and I would tend to agree. So very happy to pick that up. Grendel #1 from Comico. I love old school indie 80s stuff. Grendel, The Crow, Dreadstar, Miracle Man, John Sable, Freelance, American Flag, Nexus, Baron, Grimjack. Love all that old school stuff. So This was a book that I've always wanted. I've never seen it in the wild in my area, and I've been collecting for a long time. And it's a book that's kind of expensive. I ended up getting this for $45. I had $20 left over from an eBay gift certificate that I ended up getting from my parents from Christmas. So seller sold this to me after we negotiated for a little while. Got it down to like 65, so minus the $20 from the gift card, I ended up getting this for 45 bucks. Either near mint minus or very fine plus. It has one small color breaking spine tick somewhere up there. I can't really see it right now, but very happy to pick it up. As I've said, always wanted it, never seen it in the wild, and I'm just that much closer to getting the first appearance of Grendel overall now. So, old school classic indie is something that I'm trying to work on in 2018 when I can. And the majority of the gift card from Christmas went to this bad Larry. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, #1. First appearance of Luke Cage. I used to own this book probably when I was like 12, maybe 11. Picked it out of a back issue bin because this was a book that no one really cared about back in the day, at least, I don't know, in the early 1980s. So, but I had a banged up copy and traded it in. So this has been out of the PC for decades. So very happy to bring it back in. When you get to be our age, you don't want to ask your parents for anything, but they still want to give you something for Christmas. And I buy all my own clothes, electronics, whatever I want. I'm just used to buying it for myself. So when it comes to that, I just say, just get me an eBay card. I can always get something on eBay. So that's what I ended up getting on eBay. So thank you very much, Mom and Dad. You never get too old for receiving comics from your parents. So first appearance of Luke Cage. Awesome. So nice way to kick off 2018, in my opinion. Thank you all for watching, liking, subscribing, and supporting my channel. I just surpassed 400 subscribers, which just blows me away, considering I only shoot like maybe one video a week or every 2 weeks or whatever. I don't do any podcasts. I don't put on any contests. I usually give all my comics away to one of my cousins that I only see once a year. And it's not like he's a key collector. He's a comic purist in all senses of the word. He just reads comics. He doesn't collect them. So, yeah. So if you're watching this channel, you're just watching it out of enjoyment, man. I've never asked anyone to subscribe or like. So I've always wanted, if people wanted to do it of their own free will. So thank you very much. I will be back probably next week with a comic book collection spotlight, focusing in on some of my favorite DC Rebirth covers over the past couple of years. And I'll be back with a comic book haul, usual stuff. So see you all later. Take care. Bye.